All right. Yep, we're good.
We live?
We are live.
Sick.
All right, so it's been a little bit, and today we're doing the post-tournament breakdown.
Yep. Competed in the Fuji 16-man brown belt bracket in Dayton. What was that? 2 weeks ago? That's last week. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago. Felt good going in. Like, I wasn't nervous or anything. Like, the result, I got choked with a bow and arrow choke. I was trying to go for my own baseball bat choke as he was passing my guard, which was something I had been working on in the gym. But it just didn't work out.
Okay.
But within that, there's a lesson. I used to just not let myself try anything competition. I used to just not let myself experiment or do anything. Like, it was always like, well, you got to go out and win, or it's just useless. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I'd always just do the same thing that I knew that worked for me.
Yeah.
But recently, I've broken out and trying to do my own thing, kind of diversify my style. And I've given myself permission to do that, and B, I'm in the environment that I can do that. So.
Yeah, I mean, it leads to white belt growing pains.
Yeah.
You got to refine the style.
Yeah. And, I mean, there's obviously plenty of things I'm not good at, so it was nice to spend time in areas that I'm weak. Like, for instance, leg locks. Like, I was very bad at them probably at the beginning of 2018. Then I went to a Gordon Ryan seminar, and then I immediately competed in the Arnold after that and got a couple heel hooks in competition. So, started making strides that way. I just recently took a private with Sean Daughtry, who's a leg lock master and craziness, and he closed up a lot of loops for me, so really happy about that.
Very cool.
But post-tournament, I mean, I don't feel bad about it. I mean, I don't know. Just I'm cool with experimenting now, so, I don't feel bad about losing, about if I have tried something different.
Right.
You know, I give myself the permission to experiment, I guess.
At what point does that end, though? Because, I mean,
there's certain
the point
things.
Is to win.
Right.
So.
Right. And
where do you draw the line?
Yeah. Specific competitions I should obviously take more seriously, like fight to win and all that stuff. Like, that's no joke.
You're damn near a fight to win champion right now.
Yeah, 2-0.
2-0, man. Yeah, you can get a belt here pretty soon.
Never know. But like that, I can still approach that in a playful way, though.
Oh, very cool.
It used to be like, because I used to do like IBJJF stuff, and it was like one and done. You're out, and like ton of money, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And of course, my old situation was just terrible, so the pressure sucked.
Yeah.
But I've kind of been able to get away from that, and then now it's time to shift back into like winning and making that winning recipe too. So kind of expand on that. So.
But you got to experiment to find a happy way to do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I used to just not have fun competing sometimes. So
it became a job. It became this thing you had to do.
Yeah, like I have to have fun now. Like, that's almost priority number one. Like,
I mean, that's worth the experimentation and losing at tournaments for a while alone, is just to have a new way of doing things that's fun. In my opinion, yeah.
And I had to break that pattern.
You got to break
the
pattern
really
somehow.
Break it.
Oh, I mean, oddly enough, losing breaks it.
Oh yeah.
You got to get beat down a bit.
Yep.
And then have a reason to come back. But then, consciously say, I want this reason to be positive.
Yeah.
I want to have fun with this. This is cool. Yeah.
And then, the match wasn't like stupid. I mean, I didn't get like outclassed or anything. I made a mistake on a bad choice, kind of, and that's all it takes.
That's the level.
That's all. Yeah, that's
you're
all.
Pretty high up there now, so it's one choice.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
One choice, one and done. But
I mean, that's cool though. If you got to experiment at that level to understand the consequences of that level.
Yeah.
And then now you're like, oh, my pinky was in the wrong place. Bam. Okay,
Done.
That's what I need to think about.
Yep. And I've always been able to like remove myself and analyze losses and like grow from them. So that's never bothered me. Like, some people just get like hung up on it. I'm not. I can be like, all right, cool, I can take this from it, and we're gonna move on. Like, I don't dwell on it.
I mean, I don't know. It reminds me of a good quote, which is not as good a quote as it used to be, because I heard Lance Armstrong say it. He said, a great athlete has no past. Yeah, which is just, I mean, I think it's still a really cool thing to say.
Yeah.
That it makes sense. Like, you just got to move right on.
Sure.
But then you're like, oh shit, his context was horrible. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. In an athletic sense, sure.
But in an athletic sense, yes, it's nice to be able to, okay, I lost, let's learn from it. And this treat wins the same way. Michael Jordan was pretty notorious for that. He didn't give a shit. Like, he's like, I won. Okay, how can I do better?
Yeah.
I lost. Okay, what can I do better?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily feel like overwhelmed with anything if I win either. Like, I'm like, can we take this and move with it? Like, I mean, it's not like anymore. There's no like end all be all match or tournament. Like, I want to keep competing as long as I can. Like,
do it forever.
Physically, and just, I'm not necessarily interested in like collecting titles. Like, I hope I do some, along the way maybe. But
oddly enough, a lot of that stuff comes to you if you're. All right, another cool quote. Real good book called Way of the Peaceful Warrior, and Socrates. No, I don't know that Socrates has a real name, but he said if you do what's right in the moment, the future takes care of itself. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of how things fall in your lap. It seems like they just fell in your lap.
Yeah.
But it's a series of moments of doing the right thing.
Yep.
So in which case, you're not worried about titles and things, but you're doing the right thing.
Hopefully something will go along with
if you're doing things right, good things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was, and just now I have more things to focus on. When I was younger or whatever, I
never believed that when I was younger either.
Yeah.
My competing in Taekwondo was my life.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't really give a shit about anything else, even though I was in school and I had multiple jobs and, occasionally
it was to fuel that.
Like, it was all to fuel that. It was all centered around that, And and I was like, now that it's not an important thing to me, I'm better than I've ever been.
Yeah.
It's freaking great.
Well, I mean, it is important, but I just don't even, I just don't give it as much attention. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the number one slot. It's in that realm, I guess, but it's not the only thing. So.
Yeah, and my anxiety used to be terrible about competing and this, and of course that was the only thing I did and focused on. Of course, it's going to be terrible. Now I have other things to play with, deal with, and just my mentality's better. So, What were things you dealt with, like when you were competing in terms of post and pre and all that stuff?
I mean, a lot of times, like, I didn't have to cut a lot of weight, but I was always very conscious of my weight, and I was very praised for it. So I was very skinny. Like, I don't think I was skinny, but everyone else is like, you look like you were dead. And I'm like, but I had big thighs. They were good, Like, that was always my comment, like, my thighs and my butt are the same size they are now. Yeah. But, that was my deflection of it. So, I mean, I had that because I competed in, bantamweight, flyweight, 135 or like 127 back then. And the pressure of when it was just us on the team, I was usually the second best guy on my team. Mm-hmm. Like that, I had a friend who was always better than me, and looking back, he kind of wanted it that way.
Yeah. And
like, I remember the first time I really beat him in training. I think it was epic. That was a freaking amazing day. Like, I have a billion stories about that day. We could do 4 hours on that. But I
have some friends like that.
It was one kick. I did it's called a fast axe kick. It's a slide forward front leg axe kick, and just cracked him right in the face. And I footworked him into the corner too, and he had nowhere to go. And I know he was only a pressure fighter, and if you pressured him, he would break.
Yeah.
So I just out-strategied him, and I used my long ass leg.
There's always one.
There's always one. Why does this number keep calling me? Leave a message. I don't know you. It's probably that kid. It's probably the dude I'm talking about. That'd be hilarious.
Right.
But no, the instant I hit him, everything changed.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that was like, you can see the demise of our friendship from that point. It's so horrible because we were like attached at the hip for 6 years. We were like we saw each other more than anybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was a weird thing. There was always sort of that weird social dynamic. And then just pressure from my coach, the coach that I had at the time, the guy I'll tell the horror stories about, of to be perfect at everything. I've always been kind of put in the teacher role. I'm a good teacher. I'm able to do movements properly, explain things in 10 different ways to anybody. And so I've always kind of had that pressure on me anyway, but he like put it on me double. I had to kind of know everything on the traditional end, everything on the sparring end, be able to teach it, be able to do it, be able to train it. You know, everyone else could be late, but I can't be late. Mm-hmm. So I'm early for everything. I'm training, I'm last to leave, I'm out training everybody. And then you have the whole flip side of it of, why are you good at everything? You should only have your toolbox to pull from it.
Yeah.
Like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, ups and downs of that would always create, like, this weird thing. And then being in school at the same time. So it's just stress.
Yeah.
And I found always I competed best. And I think I've told you this, that either I mentioned the last one, I'm a short notice fighter, or I'm an exhausted fighter. Mm-hmm. One of the best days I ever had, and I lost by stupid ass judge, the ref thing. This is really funny. Is States one year, and I was fighting a dude that's a really good guy, but I knew I could beat him because he was a little bit flashy, mm-hmm. and I knew I had footwork and timing on him. And I did some of the coolest shit I've ever done. We used to call it playing angles, where the Koreans would, like, to dodge kicks, they would just turn their head and let the kick go by. And I was stuck in the corner, and I was like, I know exactly he wants to throw a spin hook kick on me. I know what leg it's coming with. And so I just leaned back. I turned my head, goes right by, like misses me by like a half inch. I countered with the best like back leg round kick called a patachuggi in my life. Folded this dude. It sounded like a gunshot. He folds over, steps back, and I'm right about to punt him. Because he leaned over. I was going to punt him. Punt him right in the face. And the ref stops giving me an 8 count. I'm like, you son. I was tired, so my eyes were crossed. As I have a lazy eye. As I hadn't slept in 3 days. It was finals week, and I'm getting ready for States. I literally had been awake for 3 days.
That's nuts.
And here he is, bent over. I'm about to kick his face off his face.
And he gives you
me an 8 count. And I'm like, he's like, your eyes are crossed, son. You got hit. I'm like, I didn't get hit. I have a lazy eye. They're always crossed. Damn it. And I lose the match by a point, and yeah, story of my life.
But, yeah. Dang.
Yeah, I know. Dang. Yeah, right. That dude probably doesn't even train anymore. Yeah,
probably not. You just took the soul out of him.
He never made eye contact with me again.
Well, yeah.
No, for years we'd see each other, and he did not look at me. I'm like, he knew the power, right? You know, so funny story, but yeah, competition was an up and down thing for me. As if I never realized when I was young that if I could just let go of the pressure, I was a world beater.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. There's no like pressure is weird. I forget who it was. Somebody was talking like there's no real physical manifestation of pressure. Mm-mm. It's all in your head, and it's not even real.
It's not. It's yeah. It's I don't know. I don't remember where I got this quote, but if you look at my rules, the last one of suffering's all in your head. Now suffer a little every day. But then the next one is suffering's all in your head. Yeah. It's all, you made it up, so don't worry about it. Just keep going. And yeah, I used to be really big on that, and then I realized, this is not suffering. This is fun.
Yeah.
Like, people want to put the suffer on it because it's, you're not in a climate controlled room in comfy clothes. You're out in the cold, or, you're sweating, or you're getting beat up. And I'm like,
you have to get past that.
That's like, my happy place.
Yeah,
man.
You have to get past the, creature comfort aspect and be like, all right, you're tapping into that kind of primal aspect.
But you gotta reframe the creature comfort aspect.
Yeah.
That was comfortable for me, and it still is. Mm-hmm. I still train very hard. I mean, I don't get beat up as much as I used to, and I have to hold myself back from that. Is a good thing. I don't get in there and spar as much as I'd like, but I still do hard training. I mean, I just turn the heat off. I turn my heat down during the day, mm-hmm. and it's a little bit chilly in here, and so what?
Too.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Oh, this is a nice coffee break. Today's coffee, Brazilian Fancy Cup, Two Roasting Joes, done in the AeroPress with some ghee.
Very smooth.
Super smooth. How you liking the ghee?
It's very good. It is a distinct flavor.
It is very distinct.
It's the first time I've had it, but it'd be good, like blended in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, blended in with some other stuff. I think it's gonna be better.
But milk, perhaps.
Yeah, but I like it. I like it in coffee. Mm-hmm. And this dark roast Brazilian in the AeroPress is on point.
Spot on.
Yeah, I like
very
it.
Rich.
Super good flavor.
Yep. Now that phone call interruptions over.
Yeah.
There's always one. God damn. Yeah, competition is so important. Like, it's, again, one of those things that's just introduced adversity, that you're making a choice to go out, sign up, fight somebody, blah, 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 you know.
And, you know, just introduced intentional, what are my words? You're intentionally going into an unfamiliar environment.
And known conflict, like, you know, it's like, not necessarily like personal thing, but it's fighting.
It's conflict.
Like,
Someone wants to kill you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simulated murder.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So go simulate murder better than him.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, you know, that you call it over that primal thing of human beings fight, dude.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA. It's what we do. So do it.
Yeah. Do it.
But do it in a controlled environment with
Get
skilled
good at
people. Get good at it and get it, you know, use it. You know, everyone hates anger.
Yeah.
Go freaking be angry if that's what gets you to be good.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, get that emotion out of you. It doesn't necessarily that doesn't mean it's negative. But it's,
I feel like, you can train past anger and train out of it, you know what I mean? Like,
but you got to train.
Yeah, you have to.
You got to accept that you have the emotion and train through it.
Absolutely.
But then, you know, competition gets that aggression out. You know,
that's the thing. You don't care about them, and you can smash their head. You know what I mean?
You just
like,
do whatever, and then the aggression's gone.
I've had
and you know,
moments in competition where I'm like, damn, this is fucked up. But I'm about to crunch this fucker's neck. Like,
but yeah,
and I do it.
Do what I gotta do.
I say sorry afterwards, but at the end of the day, I don't feel that bad.
Yeah,
if you would have done the same shit to me.
That's what you signed up for.
Yeah.
That's why I never felt too bad about hurting people in competition. I feel bad about hurting people in practice.
Yeah. I mean,
by accident. But in competition, and like when people hurt me, like they'd always be weirded out that I didn't hold a grudge. I'd have like this life-ending injury.
Yeah.
Be like
bleeding somewhere.
I'm dying. I'm like, it's cool, man. It's what I signed up for.
Yeah.
It's what we do.
Yeah.
Like, get over it, you know.
Like, I'm not worried about it. Like, you beat me fair and square.
It's fine, you know. And, you know, I like to tell a good story and have a nice scar anyway. And I enjoy, you know, physical therapy. So give me a road back. I'll be fine.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. As people don't want to accept violence and, like, you know, violent tendencies, but...
Yeah, they put violence in... It's all negative. There's positive violence, man.
Yeah. There's liberating violence.
It's very liberating. And competition does that for you.
Yeah.
Tournaments are very positive, sort of, if you want to label it as violence.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good thing, and I think it helps you realize that. So, like, post-tournament, like, how cool are you right now?
Yeah, I'm chilling.
You're chilling because
Happy.
you just got it out of your system.
Yeah. That's the thing, like, and I didn't even do everything I wanted to do, but I got to just kind of burst. I got to go out there and kind of get that release of...
Just let it go.
Yeah.
Bam.
Try some stuff, and that's the thing. I was conscious and aware of exactly what I was doing, and, like, exactly what I was doing wrong. And
that's cool, though. That
it was slow. That was the thing. It was slow.
Well, okay.
So, like, that's the thing. My conditioning is fine. This is fine. Now it's time to go thrash again. You know what I mean? Like, it's...
Well, I think it brings you back to the lack of how to handle pressure again.
Yeah.
You don't have that pressure on you anymore.
Right.
You just put it on yourself, and that allows you to drop into that flow state, which now you're conscious of everything you're doing, even though you're not there.
It's hypercharged when I'm there.
And so now, like, you've taken away the negative aspects. You're able to be there. Now you can get everything out of that mistake.
Yep.
And even if you win, you're still in the same boat of you're getting everything out of, like, what did I do right, you know, versus can I do it better?
And you can apply that. That's why I'm able to be cool in any other situation in life, because, like, I am fully aware that it's all good. you know,
it's cool.
I'm either going to learn the most I can from the situation and take it into the next situation the best I can, or I mean, nothing probably is going to kill me or anything. So I mean, you learn from it and you move on.
I don't know. I was thinking of a couple movies. In Red Belt, I love that freaking movie. It's Mike Terry says, you know, there's no situation that you can't make work for you. It's not the direct quote. I wish I had the direct quote in my head. But there's, you know, and I tell my daughter that all the time. It's like she gets mounted a lot, and now she has a great mount escape.
Yeah.
And she gets to guard and triangles people.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I just saw, me and my daughter just went and saw Free Solo. Have you heard about this movie?
I have not.
as this dude named Alex, who climbs El Capitan without a rope. El Capitan is in Yosemite, and it's like the center of the climbing universe, and it's just a freaking 3,200 foot wall straight up, and it's shot over a 2-year period from we talked about Meru last time. Same dude that climbed Meru, Jimmy. Him and his wife Chai are the ones shooting this. They're documentary film. Chai's a documentary filmmaker. Jimmy's a photographer that hangs off mountains and climbs mountains. And they're buddies with Alex, and they just kind of approached him about, like, can we do a documentary about you? And he's like, yeah. And it's because he's a free climber. He's the free climber. Mm-hmm. He's like, how about you do one about me climbing El Capitan? And they're like, I don't know we want to do that, man. I don't know. He's like, well, if it happens, it happens. And over a 2-year period of him training for it, and like he attempts it, and then like he's like, nah, I don't want to. I'm done. I cheated. He grabbed there was like a rope left up there, and he grabbed a little thing, and it was like you could tell at the moment it was overplanned. He got there at 4 a.m, had the headlight on, and he overplanned every moment. You could tell like I don't want to see him die.
Yeah.
I want him to just stop, and he stopped.
That's good.
And then he stopped, and he was talking to another famous free climber about it, and he was like, good. Dude was like, good. I'm glad you got back down. And it kind of cleared everyone's nerves up. But then, months later, 3 or 4 months later, he did it. And he just woke up one day and just freaking did it. Yep. And they had to chase him, oh shit, he's on the mountain.
He's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing it. And they're all set up anyway, because they're like, probably the next couple of days, I think I'm going to do it. So they were there.
Yeah.
And so they got it.
But he just did it.
He just got up and did it. And at one point, he's just climbing, and you could tell he got comfortable because he had this really there were a few real hard spots that they'd focused on, and he did it, and he kind of looked at his camera like, yeah, and he kept climbing. And you're like, that guy's in the zone, and we watched that, and talk about a perspective film. Mm-hmm. That's the new pre-tournament film. That's holy crap, because he was talking about the difference between danger and risk, and how he goes into that. He's like, if I do this wrong, I fall off a mountain, I die. Mm-hmm. He's like, and I have to be okay with that. He's like, I think about that. What's it going to be like to fall off the mountain? Will I die before I hit the ground? What's going to break?
It's going to hurt.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm comfortable with death. I know it's going to happen, so I'm free. And I think you knock that down a bunch of notches, and you go into competition for what kind of stuff we do. I like the idea. I like that. I used to outside of competition, I'm definitely a daredevil in a lot of ways. And when I was in college, growing up in Athens, it's all hills. I would race cars every day. Every day on my mountain bike with my 30-pound bag on, no helmet, untied shoes. Going as fast as I'd be cracking, I'm probably nearly 50 miles an hour sometimes, bike vibrating apart. And if there's a stop sign in front of me, if there's a stoplight, I'm like, if that light turns red, I'm dead. I can't stop. If someone turns and doesn't see me,
game over.
It's over, bro. And only once I was chasing a bus that I chased every day, and the bus stopped 10 feet short of where it normally stops. And every day I would go down that hill and think, I wonder what happens if you wreck on this hill. I found out.
Bad.
It was beautiful, man. Because I had to consciously make the decision of which way am I going to fly. Am I going this way? I can't go there. There's people.
Yep.
Am I going through the bus window? I'm going to break my neck.
Yep.
Still oncoming traffic. And flew up over my handlebars, and I looked over the building in front of me, so I was at the top of the hill, and I went, it's a beautiful day.
Yep. And then bam!
And then I wake up in the grass. I'm like, how the hell did I end up over here? And Miami,
a whole lot farther than I thought.
Yeah, I guess I actually rolled my backpack, broke my face, which I didn't find out till 5 or 6 years later. I finally got all the pieces together. But if you wear a backpack and ride a bike, use the belty thingy. I didn't have the belt thingy, so my backpack flies up, breaks my face. I roll out of it.
Yeah.
So if I don't have a backpack, all I have is road rash. But I rolled out of it. My backpack hit me in the head again. My head hit the ground. I slide to a stop. I got up, I shook my head, picked up my bag, walked 20 feet to a nearby tree, and sat down. I was unconscious. It literally took me almost 10 years to piece this together. But and
bits and pieces.
I guess people were trying to help me up, and I was on my way to my first aid CPR instructor course, which is even funnier. And not one person on that damn course saw me. And I'm like, you're not supposed to help someone up who's just been in a, like, and I was like, no, I'm good, thank you. I'll be fine. I'm just going to sit here for a while. I guess I was all polite and just
Generally
chilling.
coherent.
Yeah, but I don't remember any of this. And then I woke up in the grass, and the police officer's like, lay down, son, the ambulance is on its way. And I'm like, what?
Like, did you see that? Like,
I'm like,
just wrecked ass.
I'm like, damn. Well, you know, so I passed back out. But, you know, finally just accepting death. But competing all the time sort of led to that, of that I could do stuff like that and just be fine.
Yeah. I don't have any extreme examples like that. But plenty of things I'm just hit that wall of, yeah, fuck it, and then you do it. Like,
if it happens, go.
Yeah, and like, of course, anxiety will keep you up until that point, but then once you jump off, you're cool.
You let go of it. It allows you to let go of that anxiety, you know. And I kind of miss chasing that every day, but I shouldn't anymore.
Yeah.
I've chased it. It's good. I know where it is.
That's why one of my goals in 2019 is to compete, like, at least once a month or so. Like,
oh, that'd be good.
Just to get in the groove. The consistency of it. Like, I have a few picked out bigger ones that I want to focus on, but like some in between. That's, you know, my experimentation.
Well, phase. You got to take the European model, man. Of it's not as much as it used to be, but they would go for 1 to 2 peaks a year. It's been oversaturated. Soccer used to be really good at this, but now people are playing in like 4 different leagues over there. And it's nuts. But you're going 1 to 2 major peaks a year. So you pick your 1 tournament or your 2 tournament. And those are your peaks, and everything else builds toward that.
Yeah.
And so, like, we can train that. I'll teach you how to mess with that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already starting to, like, plot out my calendar, so I'll show you.
But that's an important concept, and it's cool that you're able to let go of winning and losing, because then it allows you to focus on the big ones without being worried about it.
Right.
Because not everyone's the big one.
Right. Yeah. That, and I mean, jiu-jitsu is so insanely cool because... Say, like, college wrestling, you got 4 years to do what you got to do. Maybe you get to go beyond that. Go to the national, international level. Jiu-jitsu, I mean, it's your choice. You can go on and do whatever. It's so open. Yeah.
You know, I mean, even in Taekwondo, it's not tied to college, but it's very much tied to national team. And so you can fly to opens at various countries' open tournaments, and that's going to be your taste of international if you're not on a team. Yep. Whereas jiu-jitsu... You just show up.
Yeah. I mean, you can show up to fucking World Championship.
He keeps bumping my TV.
Yeah, it's just about to knock
slide it back. There we go.
But yeah, you can sign up to World Championship, you know, and you can go 10 years in a row and sign up in a different division every time, and, you know.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, Fight to Win, like, you know, a grand organization there because you have, like, older black belts or something who, you know, didn't compete or coming back to competition and stuff on, like, great platforms like that.
Yeah, and I mean, they have such, like, jiu-jitsu is developing a really cool pro circuit.
Yes.
If you have all these different sort of versions, Fight to Win being the one that comes to Columbus, and you compete in it, so we're kind of best with that.
And I think that one is popping up. The best right now. That grappling industries are
grappling industries is laid out good, man. And then you go out and think on a more international level that you're going to watch on TV. If you go for EBI or Polaris, really cool concepts going on there.
You have like Kasai and like very like spectator friendly venues and shows, and like they're very like nice production value. You know, it's not like in some dude's garage.
No, it's not. You got really high production value. So you got Fight to Win, which is sort of almost a local tournament, but on like an international level.
Yeah, and it's like
it's got just great
streaming and you know, promotion, and people are paid and
you get paid, and then you have sort of the different side of it with the EBIs and the Polarises, but the pro circuit that's developing for jiu-jitsu now is just absolutely awesome.
And the rule set,
the varying rule sets
are amazing,
are really cool,
and it's starting to like erase lines between different styles of grappling and just bring back different styles of grappling. Catch wrestling's getting big again. Like
everyone's able to
freestyle wrestling,
dip into it.
I saw Jeff Glover, like he was doing like a folk style wrestling coaches clinic or something. Like,
no way.
Learning coaching, like learning wrestling.
Cool.
So like
there'd be some interesting wrestling from Jeff Glover.
That's the thing. Like, well, I mean, look at the parallels between like wrestling and jiu-jitsu as they are, but now like you're starting to see in collegiate wrestling, like a ton of funky stuff, like a lot of stuff you'd see in jiu-jitsu.
They're doing a lot of jiu-jitsu stuff.
And again, that's the lines are being erased, and I'm really happy about that. You're starting to see people like Khabib, like Sambo, he's, very represented there. You're just seeing different styles of grappling and how dominant they are. What it all boils down to is it's grappling.
Yeah.
It's all grappling. You go find a style, go grapple, you're going to be in a better spot.
Yeah. And I mean, you get to go up against different styles and different rule sets.
Yeah.
Like teases different things out.
Right.
And suddenly you realize like positions and slight changes and how different things work, but yet how the same thing will work in different situations. And yeah, it's better for all the arts as a whole.
Yeah.
It's a weird sort of style versus style concept within grappling.
Yep.
But everyone's sort of mixing and matching and learning to apply it. No one's coming out as the best or the greatest. They're all just sort of morphing into each other almost.
And I think I'm hoping that's what starts to blend into the future as well. It's just like, not necessarily like one big happy family or anything, but like people are just exchanging ideas and like just crossing stuff over. It's not like, oh, I'm on this team, I gotta keep my secrets about this team, blah blah blah. It's just not like that anymore.
Yeah, no, I like that people cross over. You can train in multiple things. As I come from the style versus style era where you get real good at one thing and that should be great for you, which isn't necessarily bad.
Yeah,
but I had to sneak around and train other stuff. And I like that I can just kind of go do what I want.
Yeah.
Even if I'm a part of one school, I can go train at other schools. I can train other martial arts, and it's all good.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with like dabbling in other things. Like I'll pick up a Kali stick and mess around with that sometimes. Like I've never like formally trained Kali except like once or twice, but like some crossovers and stuff. But like start to play like. Hitting someone with a stick is hitting someone with a stick.
You can always find a stick, man. Yeah, there's always a stick. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm definitely like wanting to even get into different styles of competition, like
really, like
Sambo or something, if I could find.
Or like going back to wrestling.
Yeah, like some open wrestling tournaments, freestyle or catch wrestling or something. If I could find, I'd definitely like to try some different stuff.
There's more and more of that now, catch wrestling, and I want to do freestyle judo.
Yeah.
Where it's like
everything
judo with real submissions, like you get time on the ground, so it's like what judo used to be.
The real judo.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. I'd like to try that.
And I mean, I have a sweet spot in my heart for striking, and I like, and I wouldn't mind competing and striking again, but it's like a different animal, kind of.
Striking's still a different animal. Yeah, I mean, I can kick. I'm starting to be able to kick again, and so like. It's just, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
But Taekwondo doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. But like you could go like karate combat or something like crazy like that. Like something still is there. Like
maybe there's
still a form.
Where there's still like, a way to have like powerful kicking be a thing, But I don't know.
But I mean there's Lethwei or Lethwei or whatever, which is like Myanmar bare knuckle boxing with like headbutts.
Crazy.
Oh my god!
With the headbutts alone,
dope. But scary as fuck. Like,
oh yeah.
But at the same time, like, do it once or twice.
That'd be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you see the Netflix thing with Frank Grillo?
I haven't yet.
Oh yeah, because he has there's an episode on that. It's very.
Is it with Dave LeDuc or whatever, LeDuc or?
I can't remember, but he's there.
Yeah.
Like he goes to like
Myanmar.
He's in Myanmar.
Some of the training there. I mean, the headbutting and the combination of the headbutt.
They train the headbutt though. It's just so cool. Yeah, they
build combos around headbutting.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's really neat.
And like once I saw some of the fighting and like the actual competitions, I was like, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. Like. Not necessarily you want to just like, my headbutt is my main tool, but like, you're fighting, whatever. Like,
I don't know, when I was a kid, my headbutt was my main tool.
Headbutt's a good tool.
I won a lot of fights with headbutts. I
have a hard-ass head,
Yeah. Yeah.
And for some reason, it's a human or like a human response. People like to do that. Like, they want to club their head. Like,
yeah. Growing up where I did, I was really tiny. And I was also like the minority kid.
Like, bam!
So I'd get pinned down. And if I could get on top, like I'm headbutting you. If I'm standing, I got footwork and stuff, but I'd be pinned down, so someone would get close to me because they want to like say something. I'd be like, "Huh!"
Yeah. I remember the headbutt scene in Gangs of New York when Daniel Day-Lewis had him pinned down on the table. He's freaking headbutting the shit out of him.
Oh, damn.
Like, yeah, awesome.
You're like, that's intense. All right, well, steering it back. Steering it back to lessons. Well, I mean, kind of post-competition, this is sort of what happens. Your mind just goes, whoa! Mm-hmm. And you sort of grab a bunch of stuff. But, I mean, within all the... Now that you're relaxed and you've let it happen, what are you garnering from it? Like, I don't know,
I need to revisit, like, it's time to revisit my intensity and, like,
okay.
And kind of re-add in a little bit of grit, like, that used to get me in trouble and put me in bad positions, but now it's like, okay, like, I'm calm enough and comfortable enough to see stuff.
And the technique's kind of caught up with it?
Yeah, so now I need to add in some thrash.
What about, I was thinking about, this is not the first time that you've been submitted going for a submission. Mm-hmm. What about control positions or pinning like, as an idea?
A lot of like positioning is like that, and then sometimes, anytime like I'll sub, it's almost like I get too excited and I'll leave something behind. So that's another thing. And that's the thing I've been working on is where I'm leaving things when I'm submitting, trying to sub, or like just focusing on minding my P's and Q's to make sure everything's tucked in so I don't get, stupidly subbed or...
make sure everything's filled in. You don't leave a pressure gap.
Yeah. Well, and even just like respecting... I mean, I'm not saying I don't respect other people's attacks or like my opponent's attacks, but like my defense used to be very like, oh, they're attacking and going out, attack their attack and like focus on it. And now I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just grab my own attack and like, it's. I just need to kind of revisit and like re-splice in some of those things. Like I've experimented enough outside of that to know which pieces I can splice back in and not splice back in.
Oh, very cool.
So, there's certain aspects of old game that I like and I'm going to keep, and then I'm replacing other things. So.
Now, emotionally, how do you handle bringing the old game stuff back in? Because does it still have a negative connotation to it, or is it?
I have to think about it and just be like, because I can still like hear my coach sometimes in the back of my head like saying shit like fucking like
shit.
Get back on top or whatever. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like
come on.
Yeah,
so you got to kind of take that out of the move itself.
Yeah, so I have to break down and I've always taken everything out away from a technique and I've just treated it as the technique. Like I treat the technique as, it's perfect and we're always messing it up. Yeah. So I've been able to, kind of disassociate that and just sit there and be like, okay, this is the technique. This is what I really need to break down about it. And that's the thing. I've just been left alone so that I can break my shit down and think about it and make it work for me, as opposed to someone telling me how it was working for me. Yeah. So I would say that's a massive difference.
Just the ability to sit with it.
Yeah. Sit with it, and like it takes me a long time to like sit with stuff, like longer than most people, like to sit with stuff, break it down, and like actually implement it. People can sit there and pull stuff from whatever, but implementing it is another thing too. Like I'm not necessarily happy until I'm implementing something, so that's why it takes me that extra step. It's not real
until you can implement it.
Yeah. And I refuse to begin to preview something if I'm not. Kind of in it, or invested in it, I suppose. So.
I getcha.
Yeah. What about you? Like, what was, last time you competed, what was your emotional roller coaster?
I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I couldn't. Because I'd gotten really sick 2 weeks before. And, this is, I don't get bronchitis and stuff like I used to, but my lungs just don't work, man. Yeah. My bronchitube's like sucks, and you add on not sleeping in the schedule I used to keep, and literally before that, I got to the point where I probably should have been in the hospital, but I had committed to this tournament. I was picked to freaking medal at this thing, but I could jump rope for a minute before I started turning blue. Like literally, someone watched me do it once, and he was like,
"You're gonna die.
You just turned blue." I'm like, "Really? Yeah, cool." And like, so, and that was, color. That was kind of at the peak, like just shitstorm between me and my coach, and my life was changing, and he couldn't accept me as a grown up, and all this stuff, and I remember just going out there. I'm like, I can't breathe at all. Well, I guess I'll hold my breath. And it was only 2-minute rounds. Like, I don't even care. And I made it. It was 3 rounds. And I made it to like halfway through the 3rd round, and he point gapped me, which was 6 points back then. And like, I was kind of pissed because, I mean, he was the 2nd best guy in Canada, and I could beat him. And I didn't beat him. And I'm like, well, story of my fucking life. And then I was just like, I'm in Canada. I get all kinds of free medical. Yay! I'm gonna go get a massage. I'm gonna go get some stim.
Yep.
I'm gonna
take care of this.
So I went back, hacked my brains out for about 20 minutes. I took my inhaler a few times and then went. So that's my final competition, right? But then you come to when we went to jiu-jitsu tournament. That was my restart. I don't think of that as my last competition. I think of that as my first competition.
Yep.
That was my white belt. And so that's why, like, I'm just realizing that you may not have been asking me that question. You were thinking about the jiu-jitsu tournament. I'm telling you about my last
I was just thinking about what your last invested tournament experience was, I suppose.
That was a seriously invested experience, but everything fell apart.
Yeah.
Like, literally that day, me and my coach, like, broke up. He disowned me.
Yeah.
I mean, we got in a fight over some stupid shit. And I was like, okay, peace out. Let's go, and like, that was it. Like, I was gone for months. I mean, most of the time I was in bed. Like, thank God I had met my wife, had moved in with her at the time. We weren't married yet, but like, thank God I have a day job at the time, because like, I couldn't move.
Yeah.
Like, I literally had gotten up at one point to go down the stairs. I stopped and sat on the steps, and I was like, I'm about to die. And like, that's how sick I was. And I got through it, like, whatever.
Didn't die.
I didn't die, I'm good. But then, like, that jiu-jitsu competition that we went to, I think of that as my first competition. I let go of all the baggage. I was like, I got Mike now. I got this group. And I'm just going in here to see what the hell happens.
That, to me alone, is like freaking gold medal. The fact that you can just like go and let it do it.
Just let it be, and I'm going to have fun with this again.
Yeah.
And it was just fun.
Yeah.
That was years ago now.
That's the thing. Like, that was all of that day, that particular day. That was like our first tournament, at, like, as a team or whatever, at Endeavor, when I was there anyway. And that was during like just one of like the shittiest parts of my life. Like, I had a shitty ex.
You were coming out of a lot at the time.
Like,
you didn't like, well. To our listeners, Mike reveals nothing. I have to use like all my powers of observation and detective work on this guy, and it shocks him sometimes. But like, I knew you were in a pretty gnarly spot at the time.
So that was a very like emotionally liberating day to see, just like know that everyone was like getting out there, testing themselves. You were accomplishing that. Like, we had talked about stuff prior to that. So
Ward dropped into the zone for hours. That was nuts. He didn't even know where it was. And people kept trying to talk to him. I'm like, no.
Just let him
leave him alone. He's somewhere else right now. Just let him be. He didn't even know what it was.
I need to talk to him about that before, like, next fight to win or whatever. Like, get in his zone. But, yeah.
I was
in a real, just super crazy spot in my life or whatever, because I put myself there, I guess. But
get what you want out of life.
Yeah,
right?
but that was the beginning of climbing out of that hole.
That was a turning point, I think, in a lot of ways. I know for both of us, it was very much a turning point.
Yeah.
And I mean, for everyone else there, it may have been as well.
I think so. I mean, it set the tone for kind of the rest of it, And now it's kicking, it's growing.
It is what it is, man, yeah. But yeah, that was I'm happy. It makes me feel good just thinking about that day.
It was a great day.
It was, it definitely, I kind of let go of a lot of stuff. Like, really embraced being a white belt, and then really set the tone for where I'm at now, because like, even though I don't train with you anymore, we still hang out, we still train together, but the fact that I actually left Endeavor does stem back to that day where I was like, this is what I do, and I'm not taking shit from anybody anymore. If I go outside of this, I'm not doing it. And then
people don't like when people leave and stuff, or like they take it personally. I'm like, I'm glad that you feel confident enough to go elsewhere and function. I don't know, like, I don't know. It doesn't bother me. Like, my old coach used to flip his fucking gourd every time someone would leave. I'm like, why?
Well, I mean, if you're talking effects of a tournament, post-tournament, like, before I left, I talked to you about it. I had to clear it with you.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure it was okay, and I kind of told you my reasonings behind it, where my daughter wanted me to train there, and the whole belt test thing and all that. And you were like, yeah, it's cool. And then where I train now with Vitor, I cleared it with him. Because if he said no, I wasn't going to train there. And he was like, it's fine, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know, and that was shocking to me, coming from such a militaristic loyalty background that I grew up in martial arts wise. I was like, I'm so happy it was that easy.
It doesn't have to be a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, your daughter's training over there. Like, it just makes sense.
It just, it's a happy thing, man. It's fun that we train together. And she's actually, she shows me stuff all the time. She absorbs steps way better than I do.
Yeah.
So I just let her explain it. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Sweet, thanks for the detail.
Yeah, I didn't know to put my hand there. Sweet, okay. She's like, why? You obviously have to put your hand there, Papa. Come on.
She's
like,
right.
You're right. Okay, it makes sense. Awesome. But it's opened that up because now we just, we're there together. It's super cool. I love it.
I mean, I think I don't have kids, but like, I think sharing martial arts between like parents and kids, both training or both having a background in it, like it's rare, but it can be so like developmentally awesome and sometimes detrimental. But
all on how you handle it.
Yeah.
I don't push her real hard. And some people think that's bad and some people think that's good. But the only like hard and fast rule I have is you got to train. She quit for a while. I let her take a summer off. Yeah. We talked about it. It wasn't just like I'm a benevolent dictator. No, and I was like, listen, buddy, okay. Because she was starting to get better. She started a transition phase. She just started crying one day. She said, it's so hard. I can't do it.
Yeah, it is
and
hard.
I'm like, it is hard. It sucks.
It is, yeah.
That's why you got to do it. I said, all right, you can take the summer off, but you got to tell Vitor in person. Which freaked her out bad. She was crying when we were going there. She didn't want to do it. And that was part of that's part of the reason why I was like, cool, take it off. Because then you got to own up to it. Yeah. And he was cool about it. He just said, hugged her and it's okay. And she hugged him, like real hug, like a good hug, man. And kind of smiled at me, and I was like, thank you, sir. And he was like, yeah. And took some off, then she came back, and now like it's better than ever. Yeah. But I'm just like, you got to train at least once a week. Training's training. But beyond that, I don't push it. Like, she's getting good enough to be good at competition. And I'm like, you don't have to compete. But I think it'd be cool if you did, because I think you could get some medals. I think you could enjoy winning and enjoy the experience. But like,
I think, and that's the thing. I think you can open dialogue since you've competed, since you know the ups and downs of it. You can open dialogue and be like, "This is why competition helps. This is why
it helps. This is why it hurts."
Every other parent can be like, "I've never competed in shit," and then they just coach from the sidelines.
Yeah, I hate that. But then I got the gym in the basement, and we do tons of training down here. We roll down here all the time. We got that jiu-jitsu card game that I have that we love to play. And it's just a way for us to connect. It's a very good baseline. It's something we can always come back to that keeps us together. And as she gets older, that's not going to be as tested as people think. I don't think she's going to be a wild-ass teenager. I think she's going to be a lot like me. She's going to be a boring teenager.
I think she's going to want to train.
I think she's going to train. I think she's going to hang out with her friends. I think she's going to, just be a kid, but she's not going to have all that stupid shit where you have to like defy authority, be your own person and stuff. Because I've always let her be her own person. Right. And we don't have that.
She knows who she is, so that's cool.
Yeah, we don't butt heads like that because like intentionally I set it up that way. I saw who she was when she was born, and I said we're together on this. We make decisions together. We do things together.
Team.
And we're a team. We're equal members of the team. But training facilitated that. Competition facilitated that. If I saw
training is the vehicle to implement that into life, like
very much so, and this is the ultimate version of it for me.
I feel like it's like it has the most purest intent, I suppose.
Yeah, but it's all the practice of like when she was born, her pediatrician freaked out that I wasn't freaked out. He's like, you've never had kids. I'm like, I have 1,000 children, dude. You don't understand. I've been helping take care of kids since I was 3, which people say, and they're like, no. I'm like, no, really. Like, practice. And And he sees me now and he's like, well, shit. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
You weren't lying. And I'm like, yeah. So it all worked up to this. So 100% worth it. You know, I'm a proper father.
Yeah.
Bam. You know.
Yeah.
But to have a vehicle to get to that point.
Absolutely.
You know, and competition did play a big role in that.
Absolutely.
Of the ups and downs of that, and sort of the emotional extremes, and to see the parents yell at their kids and yell at the coaches and the refs and stuff, and be frustrated by that, and be like, why?
Yeah, and just be like, well, that's a prime example of what not to do.
That's what not to do. You know, oh, you're almost time to go.
Yeah, I have to go teach class here.
You gotta go teach, yeah. So wrapping it up, you're feeling pretty good about the comp. Yep. You've got a way to go.
Yep, that's the thing. Like, let's see, was it last time I competed before this one was
it Fight to Win?
I think. Yeah.
Was there something in between that, or was it just was it?
Was
that one house one? With that other invite tournament, right?
Yeah. There's something. Anyway, what was my point? It was just, I mean, this year I wasn't like expecting like massive things, you know. It was like kind of like I was consistently doing things, churning stuff out, and like consistently training. That really is going to ramp me into 2019. Like,
yeah, this is like a prep year almost.
Yeah, it was like a rebuild, or you know.
You really got a hold of your strength conditioning. You really started to compete more. You kind of dipping your toe in.
Yep.
And now you've got a line you got a base to jump off of.
And I feel confident in my skills and abilities to do so, which is a first, I guess.
That's funny.
You know, I have my own belief in myself, so it's cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and looking forward to keeping everyone updated on Coffee Regular.
For sure. It's going to get even better. Yeah. We may even have video next year.
So soon.
That's the plan.
You know, it's not necessary, but you know, whatever.
It's coming, and be a real podcast. I'm actually going to get this on like downloadable podcast content here real soon.
I was looking at a couple of them. Yeah,
I got to figure out how to do that, and then I'll make that work.
Cool.
All right.
Well, have a killer day.
Yeah. Everyone,
keep your coffee regular.
All right. See y'all later.
Peace in.